doing goat shit. And I want to create a drop for specific to this segment of the podcast because it is a recurring one. And I have some things that I've been tinkering with and working on, but speaking it aloud to see if I can hold myself to task, because I've been meaning to do that forever and just haven't gotten around to it. But the Goats Doing Goat Shit segment is a segment where I like to celebrate the true champions of greatness and highlight the phenomenal achievements of extraordinary individuals, especially when they do things that they do not have to do. And in this episode's edition of Goats Doing Goat Shit, I'd like to welcome none other than Sean P. Diddy Combs to the list. Now, for the longest time, and still, Puffy is known as being a ruthless businessman, if you will. Someone who hustled and busted his ass and built and created Bad Boy Entertainment, which has brought us countless acts and music that we all love to this day, and many, many artists. But one thing that he did in building his empire from the ground up was recreate the, what some may say, myself included, archaic, traditional, let's call them, music artist deals, where the label that signs an artist winds up owning their publishing, their masters, essentially making the lion's share of the money that is to be made from the art created by the actual artist. And the artist is oftentimes, in doing this type of bad business, left fending for scraps. And music artists, historically, this has happened to across different genres since the beginning of time. Some, but few and far between, have had more savvy, teams and lawyers and sound financial advice around them, and just the foresight of ownership of your creation, being able to reap the benefits of it in perpetuity versus, taking a bigger bag up front, but then never being able to profit from it down the line. So that's definitely been the biggest knock, in my opinion, on Puffy over the years in this respect. As of September of 2023, it became public that Puffy was returning his publishing rights, which, by the way, he did not legally have to do. Returning the publishing rights to the artists and songwriters that helped him build Bad Boy Entertainment. Folks like Mace, which was the most vocal, and actually recently dropped, and by recently I mean within the last year or two, diss tracks and did a lot of interviews and references to all of this, which are actually pretty good. Faith, The Locks, which is another vocal components of Puffy's business practices, 112, and the estate of Biggie, the Notorious B.I.G. They are all getting, or have gotten, their publishing back because the paperwork and agreements have all been signed and are actually finalized. And according to Puffy, in an interview that he gave to Billboard, he had a lot of offers back in 2021 when, folks like Justin Timberlake and Shakira and a lot of folks were selling their publishing, their catalogs for $100 million, $300 million, etc. He got an offer, an alleged 9-figure offer, to purchase his catalog, which included all the publishing that he owned legally from all these artists. And that's when he supposedly decided to not sell and give the publishing back to the respective artists. It just took a lot of time between then and now to actually execute the legal documentation, etc. But I thought that was a dope move. It wasn't something that he had to legally do. Did Puffy make, over the decades, a shitload of money off everybody's catalog? Yes, of course he did. Was he legally correct to do so? Yes, he was. Whether it was ethical or moral or not, and hypocritical in some sense, those are all valid criticisms in my opinion. But he wasn't technically or legally, it wasn't something he had to do. So I definitely applaud him for doing so. I'm always of the mentality of just own your shit and be of the mindset that if someone, a publishing company, a label, if you're in music, a publishing company, if you're in, writing or creating different types of art, a platform, etc., if they're coming to you with a bag to purchase outright whatever it is that you created, big bag, small bag, whatever, they would also pay you for just licensing it. It'll be a smaller bag, but in my opinion, and I'm not the fucking messiah here, but in my opinion, if you're offering me a big bag to just own my shit outright, it's because you, from a financial standpoint, believe that you're going to make that money back and more over time. So it would also be a sound business move from your perspective to license it for a smaller bag for a shorter period of time, because you will also make your money back within that shorter period of time and then some. And in that type of scenario, you keep your shit. Then afterwards, license it out to someone else. Make money off of it yourself. Maintain the ownership so you could do whatever it is that you want with it in the future. Turn your book into a movie. Turn it into a TV series after that. Do both at the same time. Turn it into a fucking VR spectacle that hasn't even been created yet, but will exist in 10, 15 years. And since you have the ownership of your IP, you could do that instead of handing it over for a bit bigger bag now, and then the company that purchased it from you maintains that ability moving forward. So again, with that said, I'd like to welcome Sean P. Diddy Combs officially onto the Spun Today GOATs Doing GOAT Shit list.